Right, Gil Sperling is the co-founder and the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer of Popeye Media, and joins us today to talk about how technology is changing the face of this thing called shopper marketing. Before we get into the technology side, just give me a quick reminder, broad definition, what is shopper marketing?
So I think as a business, you ultimately want to achieve a connection with your shopper or with your consumer, and obviously drive them to acquire your product. So it's the marketing around it, and particularly on the channels that we focus on, which are digital channels and particularly the social media channels.
And we're going to talk about the power of mobile in your hand in that respect in just a moment. But for many brands, it's the toughest hurdle to cross. It's the last point of contact between brand and consumer before a choice is made. And so often, Gil, brands fail in that respect. There's this great back-end stuff that they've developed, all the brand building, and that they fail at the last hurdle. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, look, I think that there should always be a holistic approach to solving this problem. So one should always look at or call it the proverbial funnel of actually taking a shopper through that journey. So I think that the fluffy part, the brand building in the beginning, is pretty critical, and it augments the efforts on the ground, which are actually your acquisition. So I think one should always consider, or brand should consider, this in a holistic approach and how the different components work with each other.
Now take me to the very end of the funnel if you can, and it's all about the mobile phone in my mind. Is that where this discipline is moving?
Correct, absolutely. So I mean, the mobile phone not only allows us to connect with the consumer who's, I mean, I'm sure you agree with me that you've got your phone on you the whole day, and it's with you the whole day. What's the first thing that you do when you wake up? And before you go to sleep, and when you're out shopping, and that's exactly the time where
when you get to my age, Gil, it's the second thing you do when you wake up. But we don't need to talk about that. Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, so number one, we've got a connection with the consumer at any time because they're so connected with the phone. Number two, it's about data. So because it's a digital medium, there's so much data that we have about a person, which is demographic, geographic, of course, through mobile, the GPS, interest base, and then, of course, the ability to combine your own business data to augment that.
I want to talk about what Facebook is doing, because you want to see that into the conversation. But these days, the difficulty for brands is to make what is in that or on that mobile phone compelling enough for me to want to engage with it.
Exactly.
That is also your biggest challenge.
Exactly, yeah. So like I said, it's actually about data, and I think that's Facebook's secret sauce. Facebook is successful because they've got probably the most qualified database of people, of 1.7 billion people on the planet, and that's 15 million people in South Africa. So using that data, we're able to, using Facebook, we're able to deliver content, as you say, that is far more relevant. So you do want to...
So give me an example.
Well, let me give you an example outside of digital, why I'm talking about data. So if a mother walks into a car dealership, right, and the car dealer looks at her, he's not going to sell her a two-seater Porsche. He's going to sell her a Volvo that has iFix, baby seat, right? So because he's collected that data by looking at that mother, and he's giving her content that's relevant to her, and she'll respond positively, and she'll buy the car, hopefully. So we want to do the same thing. We're sitting on so much data that we want to provide content in that news feed that is 100% relevant to what you want to consume, and ultimately drive an acquisition through that.
So Facebook offering this thing called store visit measurement. What is that?
So it's a combination of several technologies that Facebook have put together that allows us now to quite definitively measure footfall in a store. So like you say, we do a lot of work with branding and awareness and reaching people with a certain message on their mobile, but they may not be in that store at that time to buy that product. So we can prove using this product that when we engage with a consumer in a relevant way outside of that store, that we've actually driven that decision to go in store and purchase the product.
And the key phrase that you've just used there is in a relevant way.
Exactly. It's all about relevance. So that's what store visits allows us to do. It's now a new way to measure footfall into a store, and it's very powerful.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Cool.